Well, hello there, Imperial Scout Trooper. Nice to see you coming in there. So, hello one, hello all. It is once again time to start building. We're working on the F-302 again today. This is the original model that I built a couple years back, and we are currently working on the new model, which is actually starting to look a lot better. Will look even better once I get more of it finished. So I've started getting all this built back up and got it to fill the tanks back up because the tank was starting to get kind of low. By the way, those of you that are joining us, hello there. How you doing? Thank you. And welcome to the channel. As we are sitting here going, like I said, we're going to be doing a little bit more work. I'm going to have to put some more thrusters on here, and I believe we are a little bit shorter than the original F-302, and that will not do. We're going to have to make this thing a little bit longer. Have to get it a little bit longer, I think. I'm not sure, but we're going to see. We're going to see. First, we got to do some measurements here because I got to know exactly how long this thing really is. So going up to here, let's pull out our tab at the moment. Also, if you guys like this content here and you want to see more, I have a channel going right now. All right, that's a total of 15 blocks. And you guys can hop on and check out the channel anytime you want. And there's a whole lot more stuff. There's tips videos. I've got a tip video coming in on how to maximize your storage and space engineers. Let's see how we're doing here. Yeah, we are, from the looks of it, one block too short. That is interesting. That's very interesting. So we're actually not too far. Why did I do that? Wrong button. Okay. So we've got to bring, I should have done that the other way. We're going to bring this thruster out a bit more. And if that be the case, and the central thruster is going to have to come out two past it to be similar. How far out are we? We are one, which means we're going to have a storage area back there that we could take advantage of. At least two. Well, I don't know. It'll be a big store. It'll be a big just area where we could put some extra stuff. I don't know what we put back there. What will we put? We'll figure that out once we get there. We'll figure that out once we get there. First off, let's delete some of this stuff. We've got to move. What was it I said? We are one off. So we've got to move this thing forward at least one. Let me go back here and go back to defaults. And we'll read a few of y'all's comments coming in. I like that it was small. Yeah, it's interesting that it's being small. Leps, sup? How you doing today? Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. A little tired, but doing pretty good. Imperial Scout Trooper, hey. What's up, brah? Yeah. So yeah, we're just sitting here messing around at the moment as we were watching. Oh, cool. 4 people are on. Nice. Nice to meet y'all. Sometimes I worry about acknowledging that y'all are here because, well, let's put it like this. Sometimes I say, "Hey, how y'all doing?" And then suddenly the viewer count just drops. People are like, "Oh no, he saw me." Now the question here is, I've got space for like gyros and stuff like that. That's one of the advantages here. Let's go ahead and just slap a one of those in here. And like I said, we're going to be bringing this thing out just a little bit longer than what it was originally. And where is number 6? There we go. And voila. We are getting longer. Now for this that central one, we've got to somehow bring it out and figure out something to put here. What would we put here? What would we put here? How much of a distance do I need? And is that something that I can put a O2 H2 generator on and get away with it? That'd be useful if I could do it. Can we? That'll get us 2 blocks. And then the thruster is going to have to be, what is it? 2 blocks longer than everything else. Are we 2 blocks longer? 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting the length we need. So we actually managed to put H2O2 storage on this thing. Nice. And also I got extra room for another gyro if I need it. So let's see. Iteration, I'm gonna say crunchy. Evening. How you doing? Doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Like I said, me and the wife got up and she was like, "Hey, we're gonna go look at houses." Because for those of you who don't know, we had a flooding issue at my house, and so now I'm like, I want to get out of here. I'm done dealing with floods. I'm done dealing with that shit. I'm ready to get out of here. Let's go back here. We're gonna do some. Oh, we're gonna do some. Well, I just realized I've got to somehow hook up thrusters underneath this thing because one of the things that the F-302 has is these underslung engines on the bottom. And we've got to bring those back in. I don't know if I want to bring them that big, though. And it'll have to come down from here centrally. Wait a minute. Can I just do that? Can we do that? Let's, not that, not this. We'll put that in. And I'll rotate that in there. And then we can start running something, we can start running piping to it. That way, not only can I start the piping will, so like we need the reverse thrusters here to push back on the ship. I don't know how those thrusters are going to be put in there. I know there's 2 of them. So that'll give us 4 reverse thrusters to stop the ship with. And we'll have 4 thrusters for side to side movement. Let's see how well that thing does side to side. So far, so good. So far, so good. We're looking good right now. We're looking real good. We also got the batteries. I may move that battery around to the side since it's not going to be an issue too much. I figure out where exactly the thruster components are going to have to go. Let me remove this here so we can see what it is we're looking at. All right, we did that right that time. So I got room for 2 hydrogen thrusters if I want on each pylon. And then I can upgrade that with some armor. Leps, he just has a little duck. He was just a little drunk while writing his username. Okay. Jokes aside, it's a cool font. It's just hard for me to read. All the benefits of living in a city. Hope everything went okay. Oh yeah. Like Mostly it's because of where I'm at in my area of the state. There's a lot of flooding that happens, and it just so happens the last rain we had was record breaking. And now me and the missus are just looking at this, and I said, you know what? We can move. We can move. It's not that big a deal. We can move. Okay, Imperial Scout Trooper has a good question here on a variation that only uses ion and atmo thrusters. Um, yeah, could do a variation of that. This is more of a space variant, but yeah, there you could do a variation of that. The difference is you would have ion thrusters on there, but in space it wouldn't be very quick. Because with this one here, we have a single hydrogen thruster and two ion thrusters. This one is going to be pumping two hydrogen thrusters and a single ion thruster just for cruising. So it'll be able to cruise and meander around and do all sorts of fun stuff. Whereas this one, the other one, it could cruise good, but it wasn't as impressive. And usually what I do now is I will put a lot of, oh, how do I put this? I'll put a lot of hydrogen thrusters, one of a regular thruster, and then I'll worry about the others later. I think what I am going to do though, I am going to look at a few of these and see if I can't replace some of this stuff with some cargo containers, give us a little extra ammo. Play around with. Let me see here what. Okay, so the engine starts here, so we're going to have to try and build inside of that. And this will be a lot easier to build because this time around we'll have a whole lot easier stuff to work with. Okay, I'm not too worried about. Hmm, I'm not too worried about stuff. I am a little tired. I will tell you all that right now. I'm a little tired. So at some point I may say something or sound drunk. I am not. I am just really tired. Now, where does this thing go to? Oh, the pylon is here. Is it there? I didn't think it was. Yeah, it is. Huh. Well, now we're going to have to move that around. I'm glad I decided to build this first. Okay, what did I do last time? Okay, that's done. And then I need that there just to make that look nice. There we go. Because I want to keep that overall shape. See, it's starting to take that F-302 look, but it does look a lot sleeker and nicer. We're getting a sleeker look here. I may actually just run the pylons just like that. Just not even worry about doing anything else. Just run the pylons like that. So in this particular case here, we're going to take one of these out. And well, that's interesting. Also, where that engine's at in comparison to the middle. Where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where are we in conjunction from this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we got to move those engines over a lot more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that engine's got to be over here a little bit more. Yeah, that engine's got to come over a bit more. So, yeah, that's got to come way over. We'll reposition those engines real fast. Let's see here. And a clicky. Gonna move them over one. I think it would be enough to get it from point A to point B. That'll make things work out good. And here. Let's try this. And here we go. And I kind of want to set these inside a bit, so we'll go to here. There we go. I think that's the T. Yeah, that's the T. There we are. We got the T on. And then we'll put that there. And now one and a two. And we've got 4 engines in the front. In the back, let's see. Oh yeah, that's a lot of forward thrust. That's a lot of forward thrust. That's gonna be nuts. Let me see here how we're doing here. Leps is right. It would be big enough for both Ion and Atmo if you just did those. I did an Ion Atmo uh, ship one time that had some decency. It needed a serious uh, power plant to make it work. I could build that one in another build stream at some point. Rebuild that. Just rebuild the what do I call it? The Kingfisher, I think is what I called it. It was an interesting one. I may rebuild the Kingfisher and let y'all take a look at it. Lowlands has such a lovely nature, but God, it's a pain with the flooding. Yes. Iteration is correct. Yes, it is. It is a pain with flooding. Where I'm at, there's flooding. There's floodplains everywhere. But I mean, if the problem I have in this area is some jackleg from outside of the state shows up, buys an area, a floodplain, and then says, "Hey, I got this," and then builds like a house on it, like he's done something impressive, and starts selling it for cheap because he bought the land cheap. And it's like, dadgummit, flood comes in, the whole house is destroyed before anyone even gets inside of it. It's hilarious and sad. It's both hilarious and sad at the same time. That hinge looks pretty exposed. It is, but so let me explain the idea of this. If I pull up here and look at the original F-302, you'll notice something. Before anything else gets in range, and I found this out about decoys, you can put decoys all around your ship. It's a probability that they're going to get targeted first. If you put your decoys in front of the ship, that is almost 90% of the time what's going to get targeted. How do we put the decoys in front of the ship? Well, we put them right here at the bottom of this thing, where, if I show the alignment here, is just in front of the cockpit. So now when it fires with this F-302, even with the current updates, the wingtips are the first things to get destroyed. The wings are easily replaceable. They're not very difficult to replace. Now, this time I am going to add a projector in the back, and I'm going to see if I can get some type of small short range missile built that once I drop it, it locks on and then just sinks off into the target like a speeding bullet. And it doesn't have to have any other thrusters. It just has to have the one thruster and fly itself in there. And then we'll be able to bring this ship back, fly over a set of welders, and the welders will just weld the whole thing up. And we'll have reactors and everything. We'll weld up the whole missile and all that. And because it's short range, I may be able to do this with either. I may be able to do this with a small ion thruster and some batteries. I don't know, but that'll be something interesting. But yeah, the hinge is not. I've never had the hinges shot out of this thing ever. It's never had the hinges shot out. It's had stuff blow. I've had stuff sear right through it. Like one time with the railguns I took on a ship that in a what was it? I believe it's the Encounters mod. I did take on a ship that fired a railgun, heavy ship railgun, and just seared the wing right off, but never hit any of the hinges. I take that back. The hinges did get hit one time, but they're tough enough. They just don't take a whole lot of damage. And if I want, I can put something there to hold them off. But the cool feature about this thing, let me see if I can do it here, is with this particular one. Let's see. This could fold its wings up, and that was an interesting trick with having the hinges. You can fold this up for easier storage. Now it does require something up top to store it, but and then you got to lock those in place so they don't clang. That's the only key difference there, is those can lift up. I did contemplate putting a rotor there so that I could then just rotate the whole wings over and they would just kind of cross on top, but it seemed like a little much. It seemed like a little much. So yeah, we've got our engines done. We've got our batteries, but I think I want to move those two batteries there because then my batteries aren't as exposed. And then we're also still considering later on with the batteries because later on with the batteries we can then swap those out later and put bigger batteries in. Let me check some of the more of the stuff y'all talked about. Question: have you designed a long range missile? I don't know about long range missiles. I do want to do a strike missile for this thing that we can load up easily and then just drop it and let it go. That way, when I drop this thing and fire it, it'll just seek on in and take something out. I don't know what's lips. I don't know what's like in the U.S., but isn't there regulation to exactly prevent that kind of stuff? Um, you would think, but someone buys a cheap piece of ground in the United States, it's your property. If you want to build something on it, you can. If you do sell it, you have to tell everyone that yes, this is in a floodplain. And people do that. They're like, yeah, this is in a floodplain. Huh. Whether you and you were and the kicker then is you are required if you're the homeowner to have flood insurance. So you have to have flood insurance if you're in a floodplain. They won't insure your home. That's the regulation part of it. And for the longest time, this property that I'm at, like my property is that I'm currently at right now, is at a dead end street in the middle of the country, and I'm right next to a large field. If I want, I can walk outside my door right now, whip out the AR, and just start popping off rounds. And there's not anything anyone can really do about it except maybe the farmer, and he doesn't mind because I'm running critters he doesn't want out of the field. He doesn't care if I fire bullets into his field. Long as I don't hit his center pivot, which I'm way away from that. So, and also I had there were some guys pulling out some dirt one day, and I said, "Hey, just pile that right next to the deal." Me and the old farmer guy talked about it, and they put a short range berm right there to catch bullets with. So I got a short range bullet stop for just like handgun shooting, and that's right across the ditch from where I'm at. So that's the one thing I like. The new house we're looking at, it's also in a dead end street, but it's in town. Another thing also is the town that I'm living in is an absolute. I live in one of the most conservative states in the nation. I have some of the most but I am my hometown has been taken over by a couple of Portland, and I mean this literally. They came from Portland, Oregon, somehow got elected. I don't know how this happens, and the mayor that we now have just does not seem to care about anything. If there's something there, it's been a landmark for years. It's something that the entire people in the town know about. He knocks it down and builds something that's modern. Like so much architecture has been destroyed in our town, and he just keeps getting elected. The funny part is he's been promising like a splash pad, And every year when he needs to get elected, he goes out and promises the splash pad, and then he gets elected. The splash, all the work on the splash pad for the kids just stops mysteriously. It doesn't do anymore, and we're all like, "All right, man, come on now." Yeah, we haven't put the second hinge on. There's going to be two hinges on this wing right here. Don't worry. But yeah, the to Leps, the regulation for that is the insurance company will come in there and tell you, hey, you're going to have extra insurance on this. And so that deters some people from buying, but then you get somebody like I was in, like the property I'm at wouldn't flood. It's just I'm tired of managing it. We bought the house as a fixer upper. I've got it halfway paid off. And if I were to, like, we can afford another house now on just one of our salaries. So, but that's because we're in a poor area of the country. I mean, it's not, you're not going to do that in New York. You're not going to do that in California. This is a pretty financially depreciated area where I'm at. The benefit of that is things are cheap. The downside is you can't make a whole lot of money unless you're really good at something. And so I do carpentry half the time. She does nursing. And we operate with that and we just don't spend a whole lot of money. Like what you're seeing right now, what I'm doing, this is my big expenditure. This is what takes most of my cash is my video game addiction. And I hunt for deals and everything else. If I find I'm the guy that's going to be on GTA 6 if it's any good about 2 years down the line when they go, "Hey, you know what? This is just a little too expensive for you people, so we're gonna toss this over here and maybe not do that." So yeah, dumb stuff like that. Yeah, I have to. Leps brought up something down here at the bottom. I'll keep going through, but Leps brought this up. Just going outside, popping off rounds, and not worrying about hitting someone. Yeah, yeah, that's about it. I just had to check the field and look and see if there's like a piece of equipment out there moving, like a tractor or something like that, because that way then they're not there. But it's like there's a stop at the end of it because they're having to like level the field so that they drain properly. The big problem we had was the last rain we got, the big rain that triggered me and my wife to say, F it, we're getting out of here. They it dropped a record-breaking amount of rain. Like we're not supposed to have that much rain. I think we had a quarter of the rain that we had here, and that is approaching monsoon levels in some Asian countries. That's how much rain we got. That was a quarter of our annual rainfall just dumped in one moment. And we built a levee. Y'all seen if y'all have seen the pictures on the Discord that I put up where I've got a small levee around my house. There's also a dude out I think in Arkansas or somewhere he had a giant levee built around his place. He just started chucking dirt up on the outside of it of his property and just encompassed the whole property. I don't have to do that much. We just need enough of it that it gets up about 10, 11 inches over the house. But that kind of rainfall, we're not going to get for another 1,000 years. The problem is, I could get anywhere under that. There's a certain tolerance zone because last time we flooded, it didn't get to 10 inches. It just got 7 inches. And then I had like 4 or 5 inches of water in the house. And once it got to that point, it just goes underneath the wall and goes right in because everything's made of sheetrock and two by fours. And for those in Europe that are wondering why we build like that, it's because every so often a kaiju we have this moment around this time of the year and about in the fall where a bunch of kaijus descend from the sky and just start wrecking the entire area just for the fun of it. We don't have a weapon that can stop them, so we're all just kind of at the mercy of these things. For those of you wondering what I'm talking about, it's the freaking when I say the kaijus, it's a bunch of freaking tornadoes show up and just start wrecking everything, and you're like, oh god, we got to deal with this shit now. It's annoying, trust me. Yeah, enough about that. I've talked about that enough. Let's go through some more comments here. Gotcha. I would do iteration here. Gotcha. I'd do a lamp slash wham missile. They can be nice and small. And also, it depends. Sometimes the town sees more housing and money to be made, albeit we'll let developers try, even though it's a bad idea. Oh, so on that aspect, that's our stupid ass mayor. He's the one that a couple of months back, y'all remember? I think back in June, y'all remember I started griping and complaining about my sewer situation. Yeah, he's the one that they gave him control. He's not supposed to have control of the sewer system, but existential circumstances put him in charge of it. And we went from having a problem once every 6 months that would last about 2 or 3 days to an ongoing sewer issue that lasted over a year. We reached a point, y'all know the guy Josh Hawley? Okay, Josh Hawley, if you know anything about American politics, Josh Hawley is a representative in my state. I know people give him grief for being an asshole up there, but dadgummit, when you need an asshole to cover to help your family and your suffering, Josh Hawley is the guy to call in because he come down, he sent a representative down here, a guy that's like it's like his right hand man, looked at everything that happened and said, no, the people in this area, because of the mismanagement, need grant money more. Took a grant money from the local town and gave it to our township where we're at. They hate us ever since. It's like, you know what? You should have done your damn jobs in the first place. This wouldn't have been a problem. You wouldn't have lost all that. But enough of that. Enough of that. We're gonna go over there. Gotta love people like that. Yeah. I've got a missile design I'll post in the Discord later. Okay, cool. I'll check that out, iteration. We'll need to use that. It might go on this thing. Lab, sometimes I really wonder just how big the US feels. Oh, dude. You can drive. I can go. I'll put it to you like this. You can drive 8 hours in Europe and you'll probably go through like 2 or 3 countries. Texas, you can drive 8 hours and still not be out of Texas. I'm not joking. And that's starting in the middle of Texas. That's not on the edges of Texas going across the state. That's in the middle of Texas and going anywhere. You'll drive 8 hours and never leave the state. Missouri's the same way. Missouri, you can drive, God, it's 4 hours from where I am to St. Louis. And then I think it's 6 hours to going up to Springfield, Missouri. Now, if you're on one of that, that's because of the by roads and everything else. If you take the highways, you can really get some speed going. You can charge up some speed and just take off. And I can get down to Florida in about 11 hours from where I'm at. But granted, those states are not as big as Texas. Texas is one of our largest states, I think next to Alaska and California. They're two of our those three of the largest states in the union. And you start getting down to the other ones. And the reason why it's like that is those were expanded territories where people just went in and they started nations over there. The original ones on the East Coast, they're all colonies. So they were small territories that eventually became states. And that's how people thought the states would look like. And then you got to Texas and they just became like the Republic of Texas and made themselves a big giant country. And then they had all kinds of wars and fighting and kicked everybody's butt. And every single state has a moment where they like revolt and start kicking somebody's rear end. It's wild. A lot of that stuff. Iteration. Oh yeah, Tornado Alley baby. Question: will you have an H2 gen for more power or as backup? Yes, we have that already. Actually, it's here on the back, right next to the ion thruster. We put that on. I'm gonna have to stop talking about about all the problems I have and get on this build because we're not gonna get this done. Nothing against y'all. I do enjoy answering the questions though. That's it's interesting. Yeah, behind the ion. Oh yeah, Leps is like yeah, behind the ion thruster. But yeah, Tornado Alley, man, just we're right, and we're not even in Tornado Alley. We're right next to it. Y'all want to see something terrifying? Like just scare the crap out of you. Look up Joplin, Missouri tornado. The photos. I actually went there after a paintball meet, and we had to drive through there to get to D-Day. Holy crap! I can that right there was just at was blew my mind, and I've seen tornadoes all my life. There's a mile stretch. There's an area that went through that town. There's a picture. And it's from a helicopter view, and you can see a massive area of just destroyed land going through a town, and it's over a mile wide. Like that, when I say they're kaiju, some of these tornadoes rival Godzilla in terms of mass destruction. This thing is over. They're like this tornado went through there was over a mile wide and moving at 75 miles an hour. You don't have a prayer against something like that. You have to hunker down and wait. Yeah, it took. Yeah, took a look. 8 hours gets me near Amsterdam to the border of Poland. Yeah, yeah. In Texas, you can go. I think Fat Electrician on the Unsubscribed podcast talked about it, how big it was. He actually set it down into measurements based in where you can go in Europe. And it was like it blew my mind how small Europe was. Because when I see Europe, I think, oh, y'all just like you're like America light, you know? Europe's like the United States, just y'all have your own independent countries. That's all it is. And then I got to looking at it, it's like, no, Europe's much smaller than the US, and I couldn't believe how small it was living here. It always bugs me though, because someone comes up there if they're from Europe, and I had a friend of mine who had a family from Europe, and they go, "Yeah, we're gonna come in, we're gonna go like hop the train, go look at the Grand Canyon, go down to Texas at the Alamo, and be back in New York like in a day." And I'm like, "Yeah, that ain't happening. You ain't doing that in a day. No, you need a car to get around the U.S. It's just a fact of life. You have to have a car. I think we're gonna do something a little different here. I think what I'm gonna do. Let's add these here. And we're just going to go with, we'll do this here. And then I also want to see how, I also need light. I've been sitting here talking about tornadoes and all sorts of other crap and wasn't doing a very good job. Got an interesting little video though coming up because the new video coming in talks a bit about, storage. You guys will love it. It talks about like it'll be up tomorrow. I've just got to do some stuff like add some one stuff and put that in there. And people can you'll be able to operate like when you do a video, you got to do like thumbnails and tags and all that stuff, or it never gets seen. Sometimes I get done, I'm in a hurry and I forget something, and I look in the video like underperforms, and it's not y'all. This is why I don't get mad at anybody when the video underperforms. And a lot of people are like, "Man, your video underperformed." Like your subscribers, I'm like, "No, no, no, it's not the subscribers. Usually I've done something wrong," and I look back and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I didn't hit this or that." YouTube has a new thing now that will fuck up your video, and it honest to God, this is the truth. You have to tell YouTube that what you make is not AI content. If it's AI content, YouTube kills it almost immediately. I have to push that now. So if it says AI content, yeah, you're completely effed, and the video just underperforms. And I'm sitting there, and for a month there, videos were underperforming, and I was like, what is going on here? This is not normal. Because it was like one video, I may have something that's not really that I like, but may not be universally accepted. When I say universally accepted, I mean it's not that everybody likes the same thing you like. So you're gonna have like videos that underperform every so often. This was like 12 videos underperformed, and I was like, the shit? What is going on here? Why is this underperforming? And I'm sitting here like, am I being shadow banned or anything? And so I start doing research, and everyone and come to the site, and one of the guys on YouTube that does YouTube stuff just talks about it, says, yeah, you have to hit this one button on YouTube that says this is not AI content and it's not altered AI content. Otherwise, YouTube doesn't recommend the video. I was like, oh, and then I got to looking back, all my videos just like bottomed out. So now I'm having to go back through all the videos, the backlog I've done, and I'm having to hit this button now and tell YouTube all of this is not AI content, though most of it came before AI was ever invented. I'm like, surely it's one of those annoying things about YouTube when you do this stuff, you're constantly worrying about things like that. But yeah, I can't tell you how many times my videos like underperform, and I'm sitting there looking at it, and someone will be talking to me, and they were like, I'm like, man, the video is just underperforming. I can't figure out why. And and I always have to sit back because the first thought in people's minds is, well, maybe your subscribers just aren't doing what they aren't watching like they're supposed to. And I'm like, no, that's not it. There's something else going on here. I just haven't found it yet. And usually, actually, no, almost every time I find out that, yeah, it's either YouTube has made some change or in the process of editing and setting up the video, I forgot to click something in the myriad of crap that I've got to check mark to make sure it happens. Case in point, the last live stream didn't mod. didn't have any moderation on it for like 4 hours before I realized. I was sitting there looking, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not making any, because you can see it has like a ticker which tells you as it makes money how much money your video's made, and I check on that at about like within like 5 hours. I'll check it before I go to bed. And I looked at it right before I went to bed, and I was like, wait a minute, nothing. What do you mean nothing? I looked and it's not monetized. I was like, it's like right before I do a video like this, you have to click it. It's it's such annoying shit where they're like, we want you to confirm to us that you want to make money on this. And I'm like, yeah, I would like to make money on this. I shouldn't have to push a button for them to know this stuff. At the same time, I shouldn't have to push a button at the bank to tell you to tell it like, yes, I want to do this. I want to talk to the bank in English. That's that bugs me like anything else, because it's not it's a it's kind of a, hey, this is inconvenient. I'd prefer not to have to do this. But that's just me. Let's see. How did I do that there? I think I brought that up. Did I bring that up? No, I did not bring that up. Okay. We'll go back to number 4 here. But yeah, that is, like I said, those are just some of the problems of doing YouTube. And I tell y'all this not because I'm complaining. Some of y'all are watching what I'm doing and y'all want to do YouTube. So if I give y'all some stuff that, hey, this is a problem y'all have to figure out and deal with at some point, you just already know that's there. Just letting y'all know about it. That's why if there's a problem and I'm having, it's not me venting, it's me telling y'all, hey, just letting you know, YouTube's an asshole. Don't trust them. There, there's a lot of stuff YouTube does that if they if they were a little nicer company, they wouldn't do it, but they do it anyway. All right, I think I'm gonna need a. Oh, wait a minute. We'll have to figure that out later. Yeah, I'll have to do something different there. So I'm gonna leave a little bit of room here so that if I ever need to, I can walk up and like just cut this out and pull that loose, so the batteries can be pulled out. Let's take a look at some stuff. Iteration, oof, yeah, big oof. When you sit there, that's how I found your videos only recently. Yeah, they'll knock me out. Like sometimes I'll look at a video, and that one of the reasons also I realized something was up there was because when I started looking at the video, I also have like all the analytics of how it's been found. Most of my videos are found on the homepage or suggested. This video was not found by anything else. It was found because there was one video that I had that was only found because people specifically were searching for that problem. And I'm like, okay, no, 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 no. If y'all are specifically searching for that problem, every other video up until that point was searchable. Like it wasn't just like a search result where you specifically looked for that. So say like if I were doing a video on how to use, let's just say for shits and giggles, the hydrogen tank, on how to use a hydrogen tank, someone would have been specifically have to be looking up that video on hydrogen tanks in order to find it. So my tags were correct. But then I got to looking at it. It didn't show up on the search page. There was almost like 1 or 2% of the search page and 1 or 2% on the suggestions. Got to looking through it. For some stupid reason, Made for Kids got clicked on it, which tanked that video's reach. Turn that over to where it's not said not made for kids, fixed a few more analytics, throwed a few more tags in there to give it a bit of a boost. Boom, video performed perfectly afterward. Um, Usually a video on this channel runs somewhere between, I mean, if I know I'm doing a good job, it runs somewhere between 500 to 1,000 views. That's what it does. My videos, I've got some that are doing 10,000 views, 20,000, 30,000. That's just time. They're regularly looked at content. Those are the ones that are making the most money on the channel right now, because people are, they're still, every so often I have this page that pops up on YouTube and it says, hey, these are the videos these are the top 3 videos. The top 3 videos are going to be one of the weapon core tutorials, one of the ship class videos that I got, or the scriptless solar panel that I put up. Those are the ones that are doing it, and they're still going strong. I still get about 200 or 300 views every month on those. And the thing is, I need, like, if I was going to really push, I'd love for all my videos to be like that. But it's just statistically, it's not possible unless I've got something that's like a bingeable content. Like if I were to do something like Red versus Blue, or do my own version of Red versus Blue, yeah, I could probably pull that. But like I said, I'm not venting to y'all about YouTube. I'm just warning you. When you get in, before you do YouTube, do some research. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying do some research on every little thing that could happen and always check those videos of this is what you need to do in 2000 whatever to get your video out there and get it noticed because somebody has discovered some new feature. I say that in quotation marks, feature that YouTube has popped in there and they've dicked the entire system up. And you're like, oh God, I got to do this now. So now I'm like on a backlog whenever I get an opportunity. And the worst part is this is harder right now because I was doing pretty good on the backlog, but then the current job I'm at, I'm gonna try something here, so bear with me. The current job I'm at is just absolutely refuses to let me work the internet. So my internet connection is crap right now. So usually if I have any kind of a moment, like if like right now we're putting a sheetrock inside of a room so that we can get it up and do some stuff in there. And one of the issues we're running into now is we have a moment where we'll stop and someone will walk over and they'll have to do like a measurement. So like one personal cut, we're moving this up on scaffold. I should take a picture of this when I go over to show you guys. It's an old house made of with plaster walls, and we're having to put sheetrock on the ceiling because the plaster has started to ripple, and it's not coming down. It's just rippling, and it looks bad. So we've run 2x4 laths over the top of it, and we're screwing sheetrock up over the 2x4 laths so that it will straighten everything out. And the ceilings are 12 foot tall, so we have to get a scaffold. Three guys have to do this shit. We have, and that's with a piece of equipment that jacks the sheetrock up to the ceiling, and it's just about 4 inches above where we need to be. So the lath has to be glued. Two guys have to pick up the sheetrock, and I'm one of them. Has to pick it up, hold the sheetrock up, while a third guy goes through and puts screws into it to hold it in place. It's a nightmare, but hey, it looks way better when we get done with it. It's amazing. Let's see about some more stuff. Question: have you designed a shuttle or gunship or dropship? And with my previous question, I meant a H2 engine. No, we're gonna go nuclear because this is more of an in-game build. I should do an ion thrust, hydrogen powered ship. That would be an interesting build. That would be an interesting pirate build. You could build that thing offset too. Imperial Scout Trooper, you have come up with the next build stream that I'm going to do after this is done. If I ever get this thing finished, I got off on a tangent right there. We got a little bit done, but not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot getting done right now. Okay, let me see here. But yeah, like I said, it's just those are the kind of problems that currently I'm juggling job and this. I'm not being an ass about it. I'm just saying when I run into this problem, I look back because I started YouTube because I watched Neebs Gaming, Captain Jack, lots of other people, and I was like, you know what? They're having fun. I want to do something that looks fun, and so I started doing this, and it is fun. It's really fun to do this. Talking with y'all is great. Like some of the stuff that, like right now, with start with Imperial Scout Trooper saying, "Yeah, you're welcome," right there. Yeah, I get great ideas. It's awesome to sit there. It's like I've got my own group of people, like think tank, that sits there and comes up with great ideas to start doing videos with. So it's fun. Uh, Problem is, YouTube is a dick about it. If they weren't such a dick about it, this wouldn't be an issue. I'd have much more fun if YouTube would stop screwing with the system. And that's the problem with Google. Google and Microsoft. Holy crap. Every time you do something on their every time they do something, it has to be there to F with you. It can never be, hey, we're doing this for a benefit that'll benefit everyone. No, they want to. And the thing that irritates me the most about Microsoft, my God, if Microsoft can screw with your stuff, if they can screw with things, they will do it. I mean, uh, Microsoft just, I don't need my entire settings changed just because of an update. And they're done to settings that just kill the performance. The way I find out that I have an update on my PC is Microsoft will drop that update. And I'm sitting there going, what is going on? Because this is how that whole nonsense works out. I'm sitting there going, why is this effed up? Why is that effed up? Why is nothing working right? And then it hits me. Check for Microsoft updates. Look, yes, Microsoft has Bill frickin' Gates has come into my computer and jacked with all the settings on it. And now I'm just like, because now I got to go in there and I got to reset everything. I got to put a lot of my stuff back into position where it originally went. And I'm of the mindset of just leave the PC alone and just let me play my games. Uh, it's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of somebody coming in there and saying, "Hey, I cleaned your computer," and they cleaned it with bleach. And you're just like, "Oh, come on, man. This is not how you do this." I'm trying to do something here, but this angle I've put into the, well, let's just go back to that. But yeah, like I said, that and Google just uh effing with everything. It's a nightmare half the time because like I said, they can't not screw with something. We'll do that there. Okay, that's looking nice. That's looking nice. Now I need to do something right here. Obviously, go back to 8. I think I got this thing still up. Oh yeah, we'll do that there. But yeah, let me look at a few. No YouTube. I don't want to make money. Said no one ever. Yeah, that's true. Let me go up here and look through this. I think the first time finding him was with a double rotor turret guide. Oh yeah, yeah, the Garmin. Was that the Garmadon video? Or did I do a double turret? I think I did another one before that. That may not have been the Garmadon video. Garmadon did really good. I mean, it was a flash in the pan. It did great. It was like, wow, this video is doing great. I'm going to be able to depend on that for views later on. No, it teetered off after a while. Like I said, you have content that does that. You're going to have, if you do YouTube and you're doing YouTube like correctly, you're going to have a core audience coming in. At the rate I'm at, every time I sit there and I'm like, man, I don't know if this is growing because you have those doubts that come into your mind. Obviously, you always have those doubts, and then you stop and you start looking at other channels and you start doing the math and you're like, no, no. If I were as big as these channels, the growth would be per capita the same. So like the core audience that I have coming in, a lot of channels you look, they've got like over 1 million people. They're pulling like 100,000 views on a video, and 100,000 views, and then they'll that's the first big bump in videos. That's everybody like, oh, it's a new video. Everyone jumps in, shows support, and then the viewership you get afterward is because of that big bump. The algorithm tells people, yeah, this is an important video. We should make it available on the store on the page so everyone can find it. So that's how that nonsense goes. Let me see here. Here for some time. January 9th, 2023. Dang, I've been here for some time. Yeah. Well, the thing about YouTube that is annoying is that they don't tell you what they change. It's like they get enjoyment out of being shitty to their users from LEPs. Yeah, that's changing, I think. I think they're fixing to have to make a choice here before long because and I have a Rumble account. Rumble is starting to eat their lunch. Like Rumble is starting to hurt them because the other day YouTube actually reduced their requirements now to be in their partner program and to be paid. So a lot of y'all understand that's a thing now. They and to give you an example of what that was, I don't think you need 1,000 subscribers. You need like 3 concurrent videos within so many months, or so many videos within like 3 months. And so they used to be like you had to have so many videos a month, new videos. Now it's like for every 3 months. It's the same amount, but it's like for every 3 months. And I think they reduced the subscriber count and the view count necessary to qualify for the program, because Rumble is just Rumble's just tearing them up. The Rumble has been, and I've thought about getting on Rumble, not as a finger to YouTube, but mostly because there are things I want to do on the channel. And I promise you, if I do them here, oh, YouTube will have a heart attack. I mean, YouTube will throw a hissy fit if they saw some of the stuff I want to do on YouTube. They would just pitch a hissy fit. They would lose their minds. They'd be like, oh, good heavens! I can't believe this was something you wanted to do. And I'd just be out to lunch. They'd have to shut that down immediately, and I'd be like, oh, come on, guys, it's not that big a deal. I only talked about how taxation is theft. Technically, no, I don't believe taxation is theft. I believe taxation is slavery, and we should free all people from it. But going on that, you can see how y'all can see right now how I would get in trouble with YouTube on like a regular basis. It would be a regular thing. But yeah, that is just absolutely where it would go. But we're getting closer to the. Oh well, I need to pull that thing back a bit. All right, let's see a little comparison here. Yeah, they're about the same size now, and they're getting the same shape. So we're gonna have some of the same shapes, but we're gonna have ports top and bottom. Telling you all this because now my job is starting to harass me, and they're like, "Hey, look, we know you've been out with your wife all day looking at houses, but we really need you to come back here, help us hang sheetrock." It's like two guys right now. We need a third. Yeah, I know. Hang on. Here I come to save the day and all that nonsense. But yeah, yeah. Just I do like this cockpit design though. How the hydrogen tank enabled us to do this kind of slope here. That's looking better than the original. It's already an improvement. I'm looking at the wing system, and one of the reasons I did this step system here, this is going to change almost entirely. It's not going to look like this. It's going to have a much more of a wing look design. There's a trick I sometimes do now where I'll swap these, and so I'll have this corner will be up here. So the wing will look a little bigger, but then from different angles it'll shift and just give something that'll just keep catching the eye. We'll be doing that. And I don't know if we'll do these fins. I like the fins. I think I'm going to run the 302 somewhere else, or I'm going to put a panel or something there that says F-302 on the side of it. And we may just run some panel blocks going up off the top to give the winglet look. Other than that, no, I'm enjoying this. Let me read the last of these comments here while I turn off the tab button. Y'all can see all this stuff. I like the look of the ship so far. Yeah, it's getting good. Is it? It is though. Eric Evans, sup, Badger, sup, man. It's about to run off to work. I'm sorry, dude. I was running good, but like I said, I'll take a picture of what I'm doing over there and put it on the Discord so you guys can see just the engineering feat that is happening right now. But anyway, yeah, everything else, it's everyone saying sup. So yeah, I'm gonna have to head off. I got a phone call on my phone right now. They're sitting there like, come on, man, we gotta get over there and we need you to help us with this. I'm like, all right, all right, all right. I'll help them out. Anyway, folks, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hope you guys are enjoying the build so far. It looks like we're going to a part 3, maybe 4, if I can, maybe 3, if I can stop talking crazy stuff. But y'all seem to enjoy that. So anyway, as usual, I'm Badger Wild saying thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for watching the video and the live stream. And as always, stay safe, stay frosty, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye for now.